Alright, folks, hold on to your wallets because the Chinese have done it again. This time, they're rolling out an electric SUV for, wait for it, $15,000. That's right, the Galaxy E5 from Geely. A name that sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it's here to give your Tesla a run for its money. Geely, a company that pretty much said, world domination? Yeah, we'll take that. And of course, in the US and Europe, people are falling out of their ergonomic chairs because this little electric beauty costs less than what you spend on snacks in a year. It's like Geely just looked at Tesla's $40,000 electric car and said, "Oh, that's cute." Meanwhile, somewhere, Elon Musk is nervously refreshing his bank account, wondering how the Chinese are pulling off this magic trick. Spoiler alert, it's called being ridiculously good at manufacturing. And let's be honest, everything comes from China these days. Your shoes? China. Your phone? China. That weird gadget you bought online at 2 a.m.? Definitely China. And now your next car might just be too. Because apparently, making affordable, efficient cars is just something they do while sipping their morning tea. And don't get it twisted, it's not just about the price. No. The Chinese have leveled up. Their factories are basically science fiction at this point. Filled with robots, more robots, and possibly a few more robots just to be safe. Meanwhile, here in the good old US we're over here like, wait, how do we keep these jobs from disappearing? Newsflash. They're already vacationing in Mexico, sipping margaritas and enjoying lower labor costs. Oh, and speaking of Mexico, isn't it just a bit rich how American car companies whine about Chinese competition while quietly moving their production south of the border? And then, brace yourselves, they have the audacity not to drop their prices. It's like watching a bad soap opera where everyone's pretending something isn't happening. But we all know the truth. And now, Chrysler. Oh man, don't even get me started on Chrysler. Or as I like to call them, Chryslerina, the drama queen of car manufacturing. I mean, come on, Jeep. How in the world do you still not know how to paint an aluminum hood without the paint peeling off like some cheap knockoff sticker? You buy a Jeep thinking you've got this tough, rugged beast of a vehicle, and next thing you know, the paint's falling off faster than your New Year's resolutions. And if you think taking it to a dealer is the solution, think again. Unless you bought it from that specific dealer, they'll tell you, "Sorry pal, not our problem. Try again next time." I mean, seriously? It's like buying a toaster that won't toast unless you plug it in at the store. And that, my friends, is exactly why Chinese carmakers are winning this race. They're not just selling cheap cars, they're selling cars that don't fall apart 6 months after you drive them off the lot. Meanwhile, American companies are here struggling to figure out how to attach a bumper. It's like we're playing checkers and the Chinese are playing 3D chess with lasers and robots. Now, don't get me wrong, not every car is falling apart. Except for, oh wait, they totally are. Case in point, Hyundai. Yeah, they just had to recall 49,000 cars because, get this, the airbags might randomly explode while you're driving. Just imagine, cruising down the highway, feeling good, thinking about dinner, when suddenly, boom, the airbag goes off in your face. Or worse, you get into a wreck, and the airbag decides it's taking the day off. Talk about bad timing. It's like, hey, Hyundai, you had one job. So there you have it. Chinese automakers are shaking up the car world while American and European companies are still trying to figure out how to keep their wheels from falling off. And if you think Tesla's gonna save the day, well, I've got some bad news for you. Unless you're a card-carrying member of the Elon Musk fan club, you're probably better off with a car that doesn't require you to reboot it every time the battery dies. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. What do I know? Maybe you enjoy driving around in a parka and gloves because your fancy electric car decided that today is not the day for heat. Yeah, that's right. Tesla once suggested that in the winter, instead of using the car's heater, which, uses too much energy, you should just use the heated seats and steering wheel and, oh yeah, bundle up, because that's exactly what you want after dropping $100,000 on a car. To drive around in ski gear. Thanks, but no thanks. And while we're at it, let's talk about how Tesla doesn't know how to sell cars to normal people. Sure, they've sold a bunch of cars, but that's only because there's this cult of Tesla fanatics who would buy anything Elon Musk touches. is basically the church of Elon, and they're donating all their money to his cause. But now, regular people are looking at Tesla and going, meh, I think I'll pass. And guess what? Tesla has no idea how to convince them otherwise. I mean, I walked into a Tesla store once in Houston, just out of curiosity, and let me tell you, the snobbery was palpable. I walk in with my jeans and work boots, and the salespeople just look at me like, who let this guy in? Meanwhile, they're all over the guy in the suit like he's the second coming of Elon. When I asked if I could test drive one, they were like, oh, you'll need to make an appointment, sir. Yeah, sure, let me do that right now. No thanks. And that's where Tesla's problem lies. They're only selling to their fan base, and they're running out of rich people who are willing to throw their money at electric cars that don't fit into their lifestyles. Regular folks want a car that works for them, not the other way around. They don't want to plan their lives around charging stations or have to think twice before turning on the heat. So yeah, the writing's on the wall. Tesla's going to hit a wall sooner or later because electric cars, at least the way they're being marketed, are still not practical for the average driver. I've even talked to people who've bought electric cars, and you know what they all say? I'll never buy another one. Some were smart enough to lease them instead of buying, and they can't wait to get rid of them. Look, Americans want cars that fit their lifestyle, not cars that demand they change how they live. You're telling me I need to plan my entire day around finding a charging station? No, thank you. I'll stick with something that doesn't give me anxiety every time I look at the battery gauge. And as for Tesla, good luck selling to the rest of us, because the fanboys and fangirls are starting to move on. So there you have it, folks. The Chinese are coming, Tesla's shaking in its boots, and somewhere Chrysler is still figuring out how to paint a car. If you want more automotive wisdom with a side of sarcasm, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Because as long as there are bad cars, I'll be here to rant about them. See you next time.